very polished. And, coming from a very, very militant family and clean cut family, I was always, keeping this nice and clean, fresh, and keeping my hair nice and, wavy. I had the waves. I had the whole, LL Cool J pretty boy look, And, it kind of worked for me for a while, but, eventually I wanted to kind of, get back into my, I guess, to styling freedom and kind of like, express myself in the way that my music want me to express it.
I love it. And on that note, let's talk a little bit about your music, right? So you've been doing a lot of things. You've got a lot of accolades. You've been in it for a hot little minute. But let's talk about how you got started. What got you in? Where does Jarvis Evans come from?
Well, to get started, I come from a very musical family. I have Ike Turner. Ike Turner's on my mother's side of the family. He's a cousin. Chubby Checker, let's do the twist. Come on, baby. He mentored me a little bit when I was on American Idol, but he's on my father's side of the family, Ernest Evans. And then I have Tiffany Evans, which is also on my father's side of the family, who many people may know from Promise Ring and some things that she's done with Sierra and Columbia and Sony Records and Star Search, which kind of influenced me to kind of do my thing. My father, growing up, all I remember is seeing guitars and bass guitars and vinyls and a lot of vintage instruments. My father, he played with Kool and Gang in high school. So my father was pretty well knit in the industry. And his family, his brothers, military family as well. My grandmother, she played the violin. And, my mother, she sang as well. My mother was an actress. And, believe it or not, majority of my family members, they can either sing or rap or produce music, like my sisters, my brothers, my siblings. It's like, it's an endless story. When you tap into my family, like you tap into like Pandora's box of music.
So you're saying it's in your blood is what you're saying?
Yes, definitely.
I mean, that's like an all-star family right there.
Oh, yeah.
You're just, and we're just going through the list. So obviously you've been around it since you were young. When you started, did you start singing? Did you start like writing lyrics? Like what started? What was the beginning as far as you becoming?
I started breaking my father's guitar strings first.
Hey, I bet he hated that.
Yes, he did. And he had a lot of being in the military. He traveled a lot, so he had a lot of different relics, pennies, masks, different artistic stuff that I was interested in. And when you're young, you sabotage it. You really don't know the value of it,
Sure.
But I started, my father, he had a whole collection of vinyls, dealing with Frank Sinatra, Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, Chick Corea, Quincy Jones, Herbie Hancock. And what I used to do is I used to play the vinyls, and whatever vinyl I wanted to sing, I used to hang it from my ceiling. So if it was Louis, what I did, I used to put the speakers next to my ear and just sing and mimic the artist that I heard. So if it was Louis, Amos be, no one to talk with all by myself, no one to walk with, but I'm happy on the shelf, ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. So like, I used to mimic artists growing up. I used to channel a lot of artists, and in turn with vocal training and channeling different artists, I found myself in the mix. I found who I was,
Sure.
Just channeling different artists that I really loved growing up.
That Louis there. I mean, I just want the impressions. Like we could just go back and forth on some artists, like channeling artists' impressions. But that said, that's all right. We came for a performance. It's all good. So listen, like I said, I think some of the audience that maybe is already familiar with you, or at least, familiar with the brand, that you went through American Idol in 2009, 2010. Do you want to give us maybe, if you would, the abbreviated version, or as much as you want to share, honey, but of your American Idol experience?
Honestly, to put it all in a nutshell, what it made to me was when my father picked Ryan Seacrest up and spun him around in a circle. Like, mind you, I haven't gotten sleep maybe for 2 days. The scheduling is really different. Like, a lot of musicians really have to get used to the scheduling when it comes to music, it could fatigue you. You have to be on the right diet. You have to detox. You have to kind of like purge yourself, right? So my mind is in oblivion. The only thing that's on my mind is, okay, what song do I sing next? And then what happens is we get up, we leave everybody, we go to a hallway that's far away from everybody, that has an echo. We sing and we practice and try to perfect our songs for these judges, because there's many different stages and stuff. So, to put everything in a nutshell, my highlight from American Idol was when I was sitting down, and before I got my ticket to go to the next round, I saw my father picked Ryan Seacrest up and spun him around. And mind you, this was the same season that Pants on the Ground was there.
Oh yes.
And I have videos and pictures on my social media of this. He was teaching us his dance before he blew up. I never knew Pants on the Ground was going to blow up, but it was fortunate for me to discover the opportunity to deal with people that were in the top three, top two, top one category, and people that just went viral with just being themselves, And I feel like this pandemic, what it does, it unlocks us to really be ourselves unapologetically,
Oh yeah. That's a good way to look at it too. I mean, especially when you're in the house, you definitely yourself unapologetically. But I think maybe what I'm curious about with American Idol, right, is like you said, so this schedule, because most people who haven't lived it don't know. And you were talking about how you gotta be eating right and be detoxed in the right place. Tell us a little bit more about the schedule. Can you? Or I don't know if you're on an NDA or something.
The weird thing about it is when you think you're not going to get sick, you get sick.
Always.
I'm not really like the person to get sick like most people. I have a very, very strong immune system. I exercise a lot, and I just remember I was taking some Mucinex just to kind of do preventative measures, and you go overboard when you're like, this happened back in 09 and 010, so this was like years ago. So I was kind of like in the beginning of the awareness of my body and the industry and the scheduling. So I was taking pills, I was taking medicine, I was like overloading my body and going overboard because we wasn't getting much sleep. But I remember there was a point in time where Ryan Seacrest came in the room, and we were actually jumping up and down like several times. So they would say, "Jarvis, your time is next." Like we would go on like this little pad that had some type of bungee or some type of like elasticity to it, to where we could jump higher than we can.
Right.
So I think I maybe jumped like maybe 320 times, and they were like doing video and photography, and I'm just like jumping and smiling and jumping and smiling over and over again, just for it not to really be aired, So there's a lot of stuff that they have you do repetitively, but the thing about it, it might not be aired. So a lot of the stuff that they had us do was for the grand picture. And, just meeting the judges, Nigel told me that I had a very powerful voice. And when he said that, I felt like I won American Idol. Like, I felt like I didn't have to do anything else, because I started out singing Fly Me to the Moon. I started singing jazz music first, which is my number one passion.
You said Louis. I'm not
Frank
surprised.
Sinatra, Tony Bennett, Victor Moan, Perry Como. Like, I grew up as a classic pianist, playing Debussy, Claude Debussy's Clair de Lune, his music, Eric Satie, Mozart, and the beautiful thing about that was, just different video games that I played, like the Tomb Raider that my father bought for me. Hearing my mom sing every now and then, it's like, I already knew I had it embedded in me to really sing. So when family's actually with you at a platform like that on American Idol, you receive everything that they see like a sponge. Even if they do a certain eye or they do a certain body language, it affects you. So it's like, I got into a point to where I had to kind of be alone.
Right.
I kind of had to absorb how I felt about certain things, because the energy that we can receive from certain people around us, as we get higher and higher and higher, we have to be very careful on certain levels, because it can really affect us if we are very sensitive. And me being such a major empath, when it comes to my music, it had to come a point in time to where I had to kind of let certain things go. I performed at Peter, Peter from Atlanta Housewives. Him and his wife Cynthia, they own the club, the Uptown Lounge, and I just remember performing at his venue with my big band for about 6 months, which is something that was recently done, maybe a few years back. And I got a chance to perform for Cynthia Bailey, maybe maybe once a month, which was pretty cool. And after that, I just more so live life. I came up north to Toccoa, Georgia, and I planted my garden. I have strawberries, watermelons, cucumbers, sage. I have many different things that I'm growing right now. So aside from American Idol, what American Idol taught me to do was to live life and be real with myself. So when I go back to a show like that, I'm not too, you know, focused on getting acclimated to the politics of everything. I could be real just like everyone else and not necessarily play the game, but like be more relaxed. I wasn't really relaxed when I was American Idol. It was like,
I
I don't
mean,
know
how
how to
do you
explain it.
relax on American Idol? I think it'd be a very rare thing to be able to be relaxed in that scenario, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you get nerves of steel, probably every other thing is like no big deal, you know?
You know, it's so crazy right now. My nerves are like steel. My nerves are like titanium. My nerves right now are like vibranium. My nerves right now are like Marvel versus Capcom. It's like where I'm at right now with my creative abilities, especially with the love and support that I have from my family. My father, he knows a lot of people in the industry. He's promoting for me. I have a new single that I just released called "Relight Your Fire." I have a film company called Gen Exotics that I've been working on in the midst of me, kind of like revamping my music. Because sometimes we have writer's block. Sometimes we get to a point to where we live life. We get depressed. We get in relationships. We go through the pandemic, and it's like, where's music? Music is still there, but music is saying you have to go through these things to create a new song. You have to go
Yes.
through these things to create a new idea and something that people can relate to. So in the midst of the pandemic, in the midst of these things, I was able to do my film work. Um, if you go to my Instagram, which is Jarvis Evans 101, I was able to do a lot of different commercials, test out green screen stuff, have Thanos dancing, and I was very excited about a lot of the stuff I was doing. I recently worked on a movie which is about maybe an hour and 30 minutes long called The Last Reset. I still have yet to release that, but I took maybe 200 hours of footage and narrowed it down to an hour and 30 minutes. So with my film company, I do all my lighting, I do all my editing and all my work with that. So when I took my little break from music, which wasn't necessarily a break because I used to do little jingles for my, commercials and stuff like that. Relight Your Fire really inspired me because Selena, which is my manager right now, she contacted me about a month ago, and she said that you did a song two years ago. We got to release it. I'm like, what is that? And then she played it. I was like, Relight Your Fire. I was like, wow, this is about to relight my fire. And I feel like this is about to relight other people's fire because the engineer and the studio work that she did for it, like it's like I'm like really excited about the work that she's done for me, and I'm really excited about the progress that has been going on ever since, being able to live life and at the same time do music at the same time, kind of like
The
be real,
balance.
you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So you're talking about Light My Fire, but also I think Welcome to Paradise is out now too, yeah?
Yeah, so I was also in a rock band in high school.
Ooh,
What type of band were you in high school?
a ska band.
It's so weird because I wrote that down in my notes. Right here. I was in a ska band.
That's amazing. What did you play? Or did you sing?
I sang, and they also taught me how to like death metal.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Death
yeah,
metal.
yeah. That's great. That's so great.
They taught me how to death metal scream. The crazy thing is about it, the ska was like maybe 20% of our performances because what happened is they were so heavy in the death metal scene and mosh pitting.
Sure.
And like I would go to like performances and I would be like, mosh pitting with people. Like I learned how to mosh pit. I learned how to death metal scream. Like they taught me so much, and
Yeah.
whenever they would go on tangents, because a lot of guitar players and musicians, they go on tangents where you're like, wake up, hello. So ska was like the tangent part, like the melody, like people would go off on tangents and you would hear Paradise come in. You're like, we would do rock and all of a sudden like one of the artists would like go off on a tangent and play something so melodically and so skish, like, like No Doubt. And, Welcome to Paradise was like a song that I did when I felt like I wanted to test the waters of doing something in the midst of losing everything, you know.
Sure.
And I, at that time, lost a lot of things in my life. And I said, maybe this may be the pop, maybe this may be the chemistry. Let me see how it works. So, alongside doing a documentary on the Roswell Mill, I decided to also use that same location for Welcome to Paradise. My sisters, believe it or not, Dominique and my sister Shelly, they were both camera people. Dominique is still, she went to school for camera, and my little sister, she's also an artist. So what happened was they both had a camera, and we did what we had to do, at the Roswell Mill with the waterfall, and we were out in paradise. So that was one of the first songs that I released on the platforms. So I was excited about that. And Welcome to Paradise was maybe about 2 years ago when I released that. So ever since then I've been trying to pay bills, dealing with the pandemic,
Sure.
dealing with making sure that my film company stays afloat. And ironically, Selena, she contacted me and she was like, "You have a song, and this song is very powerful." And and when I heard it, I was like, "Wow, who was your engineer?" Number one, how did this happen? Number two, and I feel like relight your fire being such a good topic for a song. Everybody needs their fire relit. I'm sorry, their fire relit. Whether it's marriages, whether it's couples, whether it's people at their job. I know people's bank accounts need their fire
Come on.
relit. Right. I need my pockets relit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So moving up here to the country, I've lit my first bonfire at the place that I renovated. I'm gonna put some stuff up online because I also do construction work. I do tile work. I do hardwood floors. I do a lot of installation. So the trailer that I had a chance to kind of remodel, every trailer has a fire pit. And I did a promo with some of the footage that I did relight on my fire pit for the first time, and I was about to put a lot of kerosene and cheat, but I was like, no, let me go ahead and use some substances. I used some tissue. I lit the tissue, and the tissue being such a simple substance, it really lit the whole fire. And I have that promo on my Instagram. So I feel like me letting go of everything, recently coming up here, planting, seeing my crops grow, and letting go a lot of the materialistic things in life has helped me to relight my fire, because now all my focus, sometimes when you build a garden, you have to kind of like trim it, or if you go
Right.
in here, you have to trim it so the new growth can grow better, right? So I feel like me going through the transitioning that I was going through, people seeing me with my whole living room was a green screen. I had everything I wanted in the world, but I wasn't really, my fire wasn't really lit, So coming up here in the mountains and enjoying life and seeing my crop grow, like I'm seeing my cucumbers grow. My cucumbers are huge. Like I'm seeing like just so many different things take place in my life that I've never been able to see, especially in the pandemic. Just in case if they close stores down, or I have like strawberries to eat. I have watermelons to eat. I have cucumbers to eat. I have sage. I have, sunflowers, cilantro, beets. I have so many different things in my garden to, look forward to. And the major thing about it is now that I have my new single, which is released on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon, that's like my major crop, my major crop. Like everything is happening so fast, and being a part of the virtual entertainment platform, I'm so excited. It means so much to me right now.
I love it. And listen, you've already sowed it, so now it's time to harvest. And that said, you see what I did there? Let's get to this performance. I'm so excited. Let's get it in from my guy here, Mr. Jarvis Evans.
My name is Jarvis Evans. I'm from Miami, Florida. Being American Idol runner-up has really taught me a lot. Keep running after your passion and your dreams that make you who you are. It's healing for you. It's definitely needed. The music I sing now is R&B, but I sing all the different genres. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for entertainment. Thank you, SMR. And Selena, I appreciate it. a change. Wanna feel like you're the one. One kiss makes you mine. Only I rock you, world, let's go. Make moves, let's jump the gun. Our electric chemistry, meditating out in the sun. With me, I feel your love, radiating from up above. Your vibe is something new. I move so cool, so smooth, refreshing. You know I'm feeling you. We do what movies do. You take me so high, sleep in the moon. I'll give you what you want. Your heart's desire. Oh yeah. And I'll take away your frozen past, light your fire. Can't stop thinking about you. Constantly feels like glue. Gotta have your energy over and over and again. Everything in your eyes, your soul makes my sunrise. Can't deny you take me there, over and over and again. I feel your touch, give me your vibes when I need it much. Let's ride the wave of love, I'll serve you right again. You know I'm feeling you. We know it's so. You take me so high, sleep in the moon. I'll give you what you want. Your heart's desire. Yeah. And I'll take away your frozen past, relight your fire. Yeah. And I'll give you what you want. Your heart's desire. Yeah. And I'll take away your frozen past, give me your heart's desire. I'll give you what you want, your heart's desire. Take away from your fingers, frozen past, and relight your fire. Kiss me again, kiss me again. So this next song really means a lot to me. Reminds me of my first time. Hopefully it hurry up, my love. I know what you're thinking, but don't wait too long. Cause my love's gonna show. It's the quality of this vibe I'm feeling to make you the one. And the rest will come. Do you really even know how I'm feeling? Even though sometimes it's hard to show it to you, girl. This may take some time. Just give me my mind. You were the one for me since the very, very first time. The very, very first time. the very, very first time. Don't try to work things out. Just do what you're feeling. There's no other way to express this pain, girl. So follow me. I'll take you to my hideout. Before the sun goes down, then we lay down and watch the moonrise. This is the very, very first time. I know all the one I've been dreaming of since the very, very first time. The very, very first time. Let me breathe your mind. Kiss your lips so softly. Turn the world upside down. Touch me like I know you're ready. Look into my eyes. Feel our body rise, 'cause tonight is on. Tonight is on. For me, the very first time. The very first time. It's the very, very first time. The very, very first time. First time, first kiss, first love, first time, first kiss, first love. Yes, this is true love, baby. First time, first kiss, first love, first time, first kiss, first love. Yes, this is true love, baby. I knew you were the one for me since the very, very first time. The very, very first time. And I know you are the one I've been dreaming of since the very, very first time. The very, very first time. I appreciate being a part of this entertainment.
Good job, Jarvis.
Thank you guys so much. Be safe out there and have a good summer and just enjoy good music. Thank you. Love and light. God bless.
Love and light and vibes from the garden. What's up, Jarvis? Oh my gosh, that
Hey.
voice. Just. I said, come over and do my floors for me and sing to me while we do it.
Oh, what?
So I wanna ask you just a couple more questions to wrap you up here. So I'm gonna throw it. So the same. Again, I thank God for Versus. They kept us real entertained during the pandemic. We've had some really cool stuff that's happened there. But since you're a music head and I'm a music head, right? And especially since you went down that jazz hole, because I'm originally a classically trained jazz musician. I'm a trombonist, right, and a piano player as well. But if you could have your ideal Versus, anybody dead or alive, who would it be? Which two?
Wow.
I know I threw you on the spot with that one.
Wow.
It's like pick your favorite record, right? I hate that.
I just got the goosebumps when you asked me that question. I would say Jamiroquai, or maybe I would say
I played like 4 of his songs yesterday.
Nice. Maybe Immortal Orchestra, or maybe Anthony Hamilton. I would probably say, who else? Let me see. Trying to think. Maybe. Maybe Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, but who would he go against?
Huh?
Who would we get, like Michael Jackson and Prince, or something like that? Or
Michael
I don't know.
Jackson
I mean, It's got to be an even matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here like, who would you put Jamiroquai with?
Um, the beautiful thing about it, me and my manager Selena, we talked about it. Since I have a lot of songs that I released that weren't like on different digital platforms.
Right.
You can go to my YouTube. You can actually listen to a lot of my old R&B hits, like "Girlfriend." You can listen to a lot of my jazz songs on there, and see a lot of my older songs that I did, and whatnot. Believe it or not, I feel like I kind of have my own little genre, kind of brewing. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird because I kind of have my own style, my own taste that's going. And if I did a verses with any artist, I'll probably just be sitting there like, listening and like gaining knowledge, like, yeah, You know what I'm saying? Like, and just like absorbing them being the winner. Like, I like, as an artist, I like to listen, I like to learn, and I like to be backstage. I like to give not necessarily glory
Sure.
to other artists. I like to motivate other artists and help them, be who they are, on the utmost. But honestly, to tell you the truth, I would probably have to do a versus against myself.
Hey, all right. We're here for that one. I'm excited for when that's gonna happen. We're gonna clone you, get like 2 screens. It's gonna be fantastic. So tell me one more thing. Tell me what is coming next for you.
Okay, so I'm working on some nice Afrobeat, house kind of upbeat music that still has like an R&B flair. My manager Selena, she's releasing some music to me today, actually, for my follow up. My follow up that I'm doing is a song called Fruition. So I'll be in Atlanta. I'll be back in Atlanta sometime next month to do the music video for Relight Your Fire. And what's next for me? What's next for me is acting. What's next for me is film. What's next for me is producing, directing, not just singing. What's next for me is to show the world a household name of music, like Robert Townsend.